Here was crisis number one. Knowing the truth. Well, crisis number two was, you got it, doing the truth. Oh, Lord, I know you as my Savior and Lord. So let me ask you something. What did you do last night? I didn't say, where were you? Can I tell you where we were? We were in football stadiums and at restaurants, and we were in bed, and we were watching television, and we were playing with the kids in the backyard, and we were going to visit family, and we were visiting loved ones, and we were at the hospital taking care of someone, and we were on a flight back from East London, South Africa, and this is where we were, folks. I didn't ask you where you were. I asked you, what were you doing where you were? Because you say you belong to Jesus. Jesus didn't say, be out of the world. He said, be of the world. Keep going to the football game. I intend to. Keep barbecuing in your backyard. Keep loving your grandkids. Keep ministering to that person. Keep going to the Helping Ministry Center. Keep answering the telephone for someone from Chicago who calls in, who wants to know about Jesus. Keep doing it. That's not the issue. What are you doing? So what did you do last night? What came out of your mouth? What did you put into your mouth? What was your conduct? I present to you radical backsliding. Always circumstance, yep. There was famine in the land. People had lust in their heart. But it plunged him into a crisis. Crisis number one, knowing the truth. Crisis number two, doing the truth. We know what happened, so now we've got to look at the cost. He didn't do the truth. And it carried a cost, and there were a twofold cost that this Bible talks about. Number one, others were deeply hurt by his sinful behavior. That's the first cost. Well, that's what the Word says. Word says that Pharaoh took her into his palace. Why don't men and women approach these things of which we speak quite differently? Men will look at them and say, well, you know, boy, there's got to be something kind of intriguing about this. I mean, can you just imagine? So why don't you go to the average wife and say to her, how would you like that to happen to you? Just we've talked about God creating male and female. Folks, we may be co-equal, but watch this. We're not the same. People got hurt. It began right there with the person that he loved most. Have you ever been around a parent whose son or daughter is really hurting them? You know, well, goes out there and gets involved in this and does that and gets into trouble with this and does that. Folks, do you know I had a couple this week from out of state who told me they've got a son who for 25 years has been an alcoholic. Now the boy is like 35, 40 years old now. You and I would look at this couple and say, well, goodness me, you know. I mean, he's big, you know, he's an adult. Just let him get on with it. Go and tell that to those parents. Oh, well, I remember the time when, he sang in the youth group, and he went on choir tour, and he with this and all the rest. Well, two things happened. Famine came in the land. Lust developed in his heart. And others became deeply hurt. He knew the truth, but he couldn't do it. Now, what is the cost? What happened here? Well, this passage tells us his wife got hurt. She didn't just get hurt, folks. I can't even go there. I'm not even a wife, a mother. I don't know, but I'm just telling you right now, this lady, she got in a major way burned by his backsliding. But it didn't stop there. Verse 17 tells us even people who had nothing to do with God got hurt. Bible says Pharaoh got hurt and his household. That means his sons and daughters and his other 2,000 wives and all the things related to him. There was a meting out. There was a consequence of sin that you and I cannot even begin to imagine. Others got hurt, but there was a second cost. Pleasure was short-lived. Pleasure was short-lived. Now, by the way, you'll notice in verse 16 that right at the outset, he treated Abram well, he was a wealthy man. Boy, did he get rich. See, I would like to go and speak to that man who became the alcoholic and talk to him about the first ones that he took. People ask me, what seems to be your problem, Pastor? Why are you so bothered by alcohol? Because, folks, there are so many people in our community walk around, oh, man, I'm just going to have this, and I'm going to go and talk to them later on when they've run into somebody and killed somebody's family. Go and talk to that same brother, that same sister in and out of rehab. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to just drag on this thing, and I'm just going to smoke this thing. Go and talk to the same person who's lying in that hospital bed, struggling to catch breath. Line up the Yul Brynners of life, who right there at the end of their life said, I've got one thing to say to you, and it's not about all the movies I made. And it's not about the fact that I cut all my hair off. And it's not about the fact that I'm famous. And it's not about the fact that I'm the one who built the library. Don't smoke. Pleasure was short-lived. It's what the Bible teaches. When we get to the hall of faith, the writer to the Hebrews says in chapter 11 that Moses, that great servant of the Lord, chose affliction with the people of God rather than enjoying the pleasure for a season.